Hey y'all, welcome back to A Moment with Miranda, where we take a few minutes to reset, reflect, and remind ourselves that we are truly enough. I've always been the kind of person that just works really hard. But I don't grind just to grind for the sake of grinding. Say that 5 times fast. I do it with intention because I know the work that I'm putting in now is setting my kids and me up for something bigger and greater than where we are at right now. And I know a lot about what people think. They see me working long hours, constantly building, creating, pushing forward, and they assume I'm missing out on time with my kids. But let me tell you something. I show up where it counts. I'm making sacrifices now that as they grow, they'll have more of me and not less. But here's the thing. I learned the hard way that pushing nonstop without checking in on yourself is not a flex. And the wake up call that I got came in a form of an ear infection that I had no idea I even had. I'd been feeling off, and I'm one of those people that, I just don't feel pain like a normal person. When you have a lot of trauma, sometimes pain manifests itself differently. And I just brushed it off. I had to do work. I had clients to take care of. I have 2 kids. They needed me. So I just ignored this pain. I kept moving, I kept pushing until one day I literally could not turn my head left. And I kid you not, I called Bethany and Lorraine in the office and was like, hey, what are the signs of a stroke? No, I did not have a stroke, but it took to that point before I did anything about it. And it turns out I had a full blown ear infection that has manifested itself into a stiff neck. And who knows how long. And I was deep in my hustle. I was deep in just work mode. And I didn't even notice this. And that moment made me stop and think. How many times have I ignored what my body is trying to tell me? How many times have I been to the point of exhaustion, stress, or burnout without even acknowledging it? Because I felt like I just had to keep going and going and going. Because here's the truth. When you're continuously moving and constantly working, you don't even realize sometimes when you're running on empty, especially when you love what you do, because I enjoy my job. I enjoy the people around me. And I'm one of those people that I keep going until my body forces me to stop. And when you're a person like this, where you just keep going until your body says, hey, you can't do this anymore, it's gonna hurt. And let me be clear. This is not me saying don't hustle, okay? Not me saying that at all. I'm not about to tell you to slow down if you're in the season of your life where you have to grind, because I get it. I truly do. That is the season I'm in. None of this stuff was handed to me. Some of us, including me, don't have the luxury to just kind of take time off whenever you need it, especially when you have responsibilities. But what I am going to say is work smarter, not just harder. Hustle with intention, not just out of habit, because here's what I've learned. Sacrifices should absolutely be temporary. If you're constantly burning out, it's time to check your strategy because it's clearly not working. You should enjoy what you do and you shouldn't feel burnout. Your body will give you signs before it forces you to stop, and you need to pay attention to them before it's too late. It shouldn't take a $200 doctor's visit or whatever it may be to force you to stop. You should listen to your body and take those breaks. Rest is absolutely productive. You can't build an empire if you're just constantly running on fumes. That does not make sense. After that wake-up call that I had, I realized it's time that I started making some changes. I'm still working hard, but now I am working a little bit smarter. I've started to set some actual boundaries. I may not be able to take full weekends off just yet, but I'm building in moments to pause, to breathe, and to just be. I stopped ignoring my own needs. Yes, everybody has them. If my body is telling me something is wrong, it's time that I just don't push through it. It's time I just handle it. Because showing up for myself means I can show up better for my kids, my clients, and my future. And I remind myself every day why I'm doing this. This season of hustle, it's just that. It's a season. It's not a forever. But what I build now will absolutely impact the things that matter to me in my future. If you're in a season of hustle just like me, whether you're a single parent, an entrepreneur, or just grinding to make ends meet, here's what I want you to remember. Sacrifices should lead to something. If you're making sacrifices now, make sure it's setting you up for some kind of freedom, not just a continuous cycle of endless work. Don't wait until your body shuts down. Take care of yourself. You can't afford to ignore your own well being. Please listen to your body. You can hustle and you can rest. The two are not mutually exclusive, guys. And if you're like me, you don't really know how to rest. Do restful things that are engaging, like a Sudoku puzzle or something like that. Something that helps calm you down but keeps your brain active, if you're like me. I can't just sit quietly in a chair. Like, that will never happen in a million years. I will be way more uncomfortable than it will be helpful. I personally work really hard and I make sacrifices, but I also know my why. And that's what keeps me going. I have those two beautiful children that deserve to have some kind of legacy. So, if you're listening to this, wondering if you're pushing too hard, take a second to check in with yourself. Breathe. You can be ambitious without running yourself into the ground. Thank you for spending this moment with me. Thank you for listening to me taking that moment to just take a break. And always remember, you were always enough, babe. Always.